What's up, G Show Land, and welcome to another episode of the G Show Podcast. I am G1, and this is the Godzilla Block Party, and it's a special Godzilla Block Party because it's a party for two, ladies and gentlemen, a party for two. Me, obviously, and the man who helped me start the G Show, G95, aka Matt. What's going on, my brother?
Hey, thanks for having me again.
You know it. So, last time we did our -1 reaction, and we talked for a while, and out of that conversation came, yo, why don't we do some commentaries? And I was all for it. I was like, I've never done a commentary before, but why the hell not? So this has been brewing for like the past 2-3 weeks now, I would say, since we did the podcast. And yeah, we've got some time. And what better way to start off this commentary journey than by watching the original 1954 Godzilla. I'm ready. I'm excited.
Oh, me too.
I will say this. I'm gonna preface this and say I apologize to you, Gams. I know you've been wanting to review this movie, but this is not a review. We are doing commentary. All right, we'll get to the reviews later. Gams, I got you. Don't worry. But that being said, when do you want to go? My finger's itching. I gotta press that button. You tell me.
Right. So we're, just for sake of clarity, we are watching this on Max. We both have, I'm sure, about a dozen copies of this movie between the two of us.
Pretty much.
But we figured this is probably the easiest way for anybody listening along to sync up. We're going to be hitting play at the same time in just a moment here, and if you want to sync up as well, like I said, we're watching it on Max, but this will work perfectly fine if you're watching this on Blu-ray, DVD, Criterion, another streaming service, Pluto. But yeah, let's go.
All right, I just want to make sure. I'm going to bring my volume down a bit because I got a sound system that kicks in this room. But all right, you ready?
I'm ready.
What are we doing? On 3 or on 2?
Lead the way.
1, 2, 3, go. Oh wait, now I gotta put. Oh, of course. I've got the spinning. Okay, yep. There's HBO. Where are you right now?
I'm getting a Criterion C.
That's what I'm getting. Okay. That's exactly where I'm at. There's the Criterion C. Janus Films. You might be 1 second ahead of me, but that's all right. This is amazing.
All right, here we go.
Yeah, here we go. I've never seen Made with the support of the Japanese Coast Guard. I've never seen that.
Yeah, I feel like that's a more recent edition, possibly.
Possibly. You know what's funny? I don't think I've watched the Criterion version of Godzilla. Oh, hello, beautiful. Sing to me. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. You'll hear me say that numerous times throughout this commentary. Every time Godzilla roars for whatever reason, I just love it. I say, sing to me. See? I love it.
So, I actually have, I think the only thing that keeps this movie from being absolutely perfect in my mind is I honestly don't like hearing the roar over the opening credits.
Really?
I feel like it kind of, I feel like it kind of diminishes, like, hearing it for the first time. I love the footsteps. Obviously, the Godzilla March is just perfect. But if I had to knock this down for anything, I think, this is probably a product of the time with, kind of announcing the monster. It's like, 54, it's, Atomic Age. That's right when these kind of movies were kicking off. And, like, that was the standard for the time. I just feel like that aspect hasn't aged quite that well, in my opinion.
Oh.
But this also isn't going to be me shitting on the movie for the next hour and a half. So don't anybody worry about that. We got nothing but positive things to say after this.
That's true. So no, that's funny. I honestly love it. I do. Not to mention, it is It's my wife's ringtone. The very beginning, before the music starts. But no, I do kind of dig it because, wow, hold up. I gotta be honest. Okay, Mr. TV, you're making that black and white 1954 look real good. Man. All right. Sorry, y'all obviously can't see it, but I haven't watched this movie on this television in, God, 7 years. Because once we bought the house, obviously I needed a new TV.
Mm-hmm.
So this TV went upstairs, and then my behemoth that is in my room is what, I mean, not my room, my den is what I've, from here on out been watching it on.
Sure.
But I forgot how good this TV makes movies look.
So this is the, oh God, what was the ship called? Do you remember? It was like the
Kobayashi Maru?
Yeah, that's it. That's right. What a way to just kick off the movie too. Just like really get it going.
And
go ahead.
No, and to kind of like bring up, wow, that's a new scene. I don't recall ever seeing this scene with the ship sinking after they went to the SOS, receiving the SOS. Now listen, I watch this movie legit. Again, I watch this movie at least twice a year, and this is the first time I'm watching it this year, so I'm already behind. But this is the first time I'm watching the Criterion cut. I've always watched the classic media one. And when
the Criterion cut has been out for a really long time.
I never bought the first one, yeah, and that's okay. All. That's my bad.
I have 3 copies of that one.
I need, you know what? If I can find it for a decent price, I'd buy it, just because. But I bought I got the Criterion collection.
Mm-hmm.
I just never watched Godzilla from there.
Sure.
So, yeah, that was, I don't know.
I gotta say that I really hope that Criterion gets the rights to the Heisei and Millennium sagas, because one, I mean, it would just be awesome to have more box sets like the Criterion set, and two, those Sony double feature Blu-rays look like fucking shit.
And I'm not even sold on their translations all the way. I mean, for the most part, everything is rocking, but I know for a fact from watching those movies over and over and over again, especially the Heisei movies, there's definitely some things that are different translation-wise, and
right.
it upsets me. I mean,
I do gotta say that I have a soft spot for the Millennium era dubs, though.
The dubs, really?
Yeah, they're fun. That's what I grew up with. I didn't start watching the subs until a little bit later in life. So every time I'd rent the Millennium movies from the video store, it was always subs or dubs. Excuse me. Yeah, while we're kind of waiting for things to ramp up in the movie, why don't you tell us about the first time you saw this?
Well, the first time I seen the original 1954, I was in Boston. I went to visit my cousin. He was going to Boston College. It was me and my cousin Lewis. We went up there to visit my cousin Jason. He took us to I forget the main square in Boston. I forgot what it's called. But we go there, and there was this Japanese video store. And we go in there, and I found Gamera 2, right? Advent of Legion. And then I found this, both on VHS. And I was like, oh shit, the original 54 Godzilla. And went back to my cousin's dorm, and I was like, hey man, I gotta watch this. And my cousin used to work in a video store before he went to college. So we used to hang out with him all weekend. We used to rent movies, go home and go to his house and watch them all night long. That's what we used to always do. So we watched this movie together, subtitled for the first time, and yeah, all three of us were like, "Yo, this is something different," because even though it's the same movie, I'm so used to seeing Raymond Burr as Steve Martin from King of the Monsters. That was the only one I had at the time. So seeing it like this, it was kind of different, and it really hit home how terrifying this is for the Japanese people, especially when it's 10 years after Hiroshima and Nagasaki. And if I'm not mistaken, isn't today or is it tomorrow that's the anniversary?
It is tomorrow.
It's tomorrow, right? The 6th. Okay. That's even crazier that we're doing this.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. That's a bit of unfortunate serendipity. But I don't know how true this is, but I heard something to the effect that there was some rule or law in place where Japanese cinema couldn't directly mention the bombs. Ooh. I don't know if it was mandated by the Japanese government or the U.S. government or what, or if it's even true. But I heard that somewhere, and this is like their way of kind of skirting around that. Was it Ishiro Honda's and Tsuburaya's like way of like skirting around that and like talking about it without saying it?
Yeah, you know what? That's crazy because there is a part later on in this movie. I think it's after Godzilla's first appearance in Tokyo, where there's a scene where there's people on a train and they're talking about, oh great, now we're gonna have to go to the shelters again, something to that effect.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
But I never thought of that.
I mean, it could be something that some misinformation or something like that. But this movie like really hits the ground running with its tone, and it's just like a grim kind of bleak affair.
Yeah.
All the way through.
And I'll tell you, you compare this. I mean, the only other movie I could compare this to, obviously, is let's say King Kong, right?
Right.
Black and white monster movies, both iconic. The difference between this and King Kong is exactly what you just said. It's bleak, it's grim, it's dark. You can feel it in even in the tones, the grayscales, and the black and white. Like it's hard to explain, but it's there. It's like it's so atmospheric and moody. I could never see this movie in color. Oh, and the music.
The music adds so much to it too, of keeping with that tone. Whereas like you mentioned, King Kong is effectively an adventure film.
Right.
Peter Jackson's King Kong, I think, did a really good job in the first act, like while they're on the boat, to really leaning into the horror and like making it almost having this kind of cosmic Lovecraftian kind of feel to it, which I can only imagine it was picked up from Gojira to some extent, and even as this movie like really, we can get into it more when the scenes are playing, but even like the human story, as it were, that's bleak. That's Serizawa knowing that his bride-to-be is effectively cheating on him with somebody else, with a sailor, and they openly talk about it. They openly talk about what they're doing to Serizawa and how fucking horrible they feel about it too. Like, that's pretty grim.
It's one of those things that I always loved about this movie in particular. See, when I was a kid and I watched King of the Monsters, I don't understand that. I don't get that, right? But when I see it and you take away Steve Martin and it's just this, it's like, wait a minute. Oh, hold up. I gotta be honest. This is one of my favorite parts in this movie. The ceremony, the music here, the dancing, again, the atmosphere, and the way it leads into the typhoon.
Yeah.
I love that transition. I love how that goes.
Mm-hmm.
I love this. Yeah, that's crazy. Some of these subtitles, which I love them, but some of these subtitles, I'm like, I don't remember them saying that. Like the sacrificing the young girl thing, I remember all that. But Godzilla eating all the fish and then coming ashore to eat the people, I don't remember that at all.
Sure.
I'm gonna have to watch the classic media one again. See, that's the problem.
Well, this is why we synced up the way we did, so we're getting the same experience.
Yeah.
But I really love the touch of him mentioning that this is the only tradition that they still have to keeping Godzilla away, and it's like kind of, definitely probably some kind of commentary on how fast Japan industrialized and became a modern country within just a few decades at this point. 70 years ago, less than 100 years ago, they were still a feudal country. Like, that had lords and, I can't remember all the correct terminology off the top of my head, so that's my bad, but, their traditions are still there, but also, they industrialized so fast, and that's got to be jarring for the people who lived through it at the time.
Yeah, absolutely. Now here's one of the best scenes in giant monster history. Godzilla coming ashore. You don't even see it. That's the best part.
Mm-hmm.
That's the best part. And I think this is done so perfect. The music swelling. That's all you see is like a leg moving the house. That's it. And you can't even see it.
Yeah, in the background too. It's not even in the foreground.
Exactly. So good. Shinsuke yelling and screaming and crying there. Perfection.
Mm-hmm. And I gotta say, as somebody who's beginning to dabble in special effects and stuff on my own, the miniatures in this are so amazing. Like, especially in the Tokyo scenes, it's like unparalleled. Their attention to detail. When there is no reason at all that they had to put this much effort in to this movie, especially because movies in the 50s, like, this is just before the kind of atomic age monsters really, really kicked off, but they didn't try that hard. A lot of the movies didn't try that hard, and you could really, really argue that a lot of the sequels in the Showa era didn't ever try this hard again. I mean, certainly, Godzilla Raids Again was rushed into production. They didn't even want to wait for Ishiro Honda to finish what he was filming to bring him back as director. So, I mean, yeah, the effort and craftsmanship and thought and care that went into this, like, they had to know that they were making something special. And I've always wondered at what point they kind of realized that they were making something so special. Because there's some of the original concept art published online where Godzilla is designed as more of like an octopus or sea monster or some kind of, I think, like wolf creature at one point or something like that. And, at what point did they kind of have it all click? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's the crazy part. When did it click? Because, the one picture I always see is that really weird picture. It's almost like a ancient dragon look, an oriental dragon almost.
Yeah. With
the face more like a lion face.
Sure.
It reminds me more of King Caesar, later on, than Godzilla. And you're right. When did it click? When did they say radioactive dinosaur? When did they say, some kind of reptilian?
Right.
one thing I always love about Godzilla and Godzilla movies, and this could never be, to me, it couldn't be a Godzilla movie without them. Scientists. Every single one had, except for Godzilla's Revenge. It's the only movie that doesn't have a scientist. Oh no, I'm lying. There is a scientist. He's the inventor, the tinkerer in the building.
Oh,
so
yeah.
even that has a scientist. Here's that part you were talking about. Ogata, Sarasawa seeing them off and just looking at Ogata and Emiko and... Yeah, that's...
Yeah, like he knows. Like, look at his face there. Like
he's even swallowing. Like, he's like... You see his throat moving like he's swallowing his pride.
Mm-hmm.
I just noticed that. I'd never noticed that before until right now, and we're talking about it, and I'm looking at that, and it could have been extremely hot that day on set, and he was thirsty. Or B, that's a natural reaction to seeing your betrothed going away with, obviously, the dude she's having an affair with.
Right.
And he's just letting it happen. But Sarazawa's a man of science.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe he's like, I couldn't even give her the kind of attention she would need.
Yeah.
Because of my work.
Mm-hmm. There's that. I think, he kind of, through some of the dialogue towards the end, I really get the attention that, or the aspect that, you're right. Like, he knows that he's not right for her, and Ogata is a better fit. Obviously it's clearly devastating to him, but it's obvious he also loves her enough to take that L, I guess.
Agreed. And we're not there yet. We're nowhere near it, but
right.
That ending, the way Ogata chokes up when he says he wanted us to be happy, that's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Now, here's one of my favorite parts, and this is something that, always a good Godzilla movie will do well. Giant footprints. 1998, I'm just kidding, I'm kidding.
I actually just saw something on Twitter yesterday, I think, where the footprints from 98 are still at wherever they shot that.
Yes,
they're still there.
That is so dope. So freaking dope, considering that's almost 30 years ago, almost.
Mm-hmm.
And they're still there. It's kind of like the moisture farms.
Yeah.
On Tatsu, they're still.
It's also like kind of crazy that production wouldn't like fill those back in.
Maybe the people of the island love it because they could play pranks on their kids who didn't know about it.
Mm-hmm.
Keep them in line.
I don't know. It's just like the rule of thumb generally with good filmmaking and productions.
Pick up your mess.
Where, clean up your mess. Leave it cleaner than when you found it. It's also really interesting in this scene that I don't know my history that well, but it's like crazy that like everything is blatantly really fucking radioactive, and they're just touching it. They're just touching it with their, like, he's picking up the little trilobite with his hands.
Yeah, no problem.
It's like, the water's devastating, and they're all gonna get horrible radiation poisoning.
I mean, these guys are in the radiation suits, but Dr. Yamane, straight up, no gloves, no nothing, he picks it up.
Yeah, no, he is going to lose those hands, next week.
Now, I will say, one of the things I love about this movie... Oh, wait. There it comes. Here we go, the bell's being rung. That's the warning. This is another thing. And then hearing the footprints. The footsteps.
Mm-hmm.
Hearing the footsteps, I love it. Oh! I just noticed the footsteps on the footprints in the land right.
Are they there? I missed that.
Yeah, they would. Dude, I've seen that scene 1,000 times. I'm running up the hill, but I never noticed that there are 4-toe imprint. It looks like 3 toes, honestly, but it wasn't. But there were imprints in the ground leading away in the direction they were running to. That's crazy. I love it. I saw the creature from the Jurassic era.
Here it is.
Very. This honestly, this is one of the best. Oh wow! Even Godzilla looks great on his teeth. Wow, man, it's been so long.
So I think this would have been a perfect time to hear the roar for the first time. Seeing Godzilla, hearing the roar, I really think that would just be so impactful, like even more than it is. And we could also talk, like, go on and on about how iconic just that hill is.
Yes.
That, it's been referenced how many times in Godzilla movies since then? And it's just a quick thing. He just, like, pops up to say hello and then fucks off into the sea.
He's like, "You're not a ship. I'm out of here."
Yeah. How do you feel about the old rumor that Godzilla was supposed to be having like a dead cow in his mouth or his hand? How do you...
I saw a still from that. If I'm not mistaken, that was... They took a shot of that. I think it was supposed to be in his mouth. I don't mind that. He's a creature. Now that, I always remember those footprints, obviously, but that's one of my favorite scenes in Godzilla 2, seeing those footprints, and then the tail imprint also. Yeah, no, I never mind that at all. Before Godzilla started eating radiation, which he never does in this movie, it made sense. It's an animal. It's a dinosaur. It's gonna eat something, right?
Sure.
So yeah, I didn't mind about that. Hell, Godzilla was eating Anguirus in the next one.
Yeah.
I
don't know. I'm glad that they didn't include it, honestly. Like, you're right, Godzilla is an animal, but I don't know. I don't think I want to see him eat, I don't know why. So here's obviously where they say this is a photograph of Godzilla,
and look at the size of him.
It's blatantly not. I always thought this was kind of funny. I assumed that maybe they filmed this scene before the puppet was ready, and they could use that shot, but I'm not sure.
I like it. You know what it is, especially with this movie, I always had a fascination on the many different looks of Godzilla. The puppet look, the suit,
right.
That I always the model or whatever they use when he comes out of the water, just his head.
Mm-hmm.
I always loved that. Because I don't know how to describe it, but just seeing different versions of Godzilla in one movie. Now, here's what I was going to talk about right before Godzilla came. The trilobite. One of the things I love about this, right, is you got the trilobite here, and then in 1984, it's the sea slug that fed off of Godzilla's radiation and grew to, giant proportions. And I always loved that kind of... I always took that as a callback to this.
Sure. Yeah.
Discovery of the trilobite.
Yeah, we're definitely going to get into some stuff about 84 in this, because there's a lot of little moments, I'm going to say, that I really feel like the filmmakers for 84 watched this movie and said, like, just probably paused their VHS or their Betamax and just was like, this one, this shot, this little moment, like, these are the little themes that we want to include in our Godzilla. And I love that. Like, I can't, say that with any certainty that's what happened, but there's too much of a direct through line, and probably getting ahead of ourselves, and we'll talk about it more when we get to those scenes. But it's
the original Godzilla 1984, not Godzilla 1985, not the American bastardization of it.
I won't even call it a bastardization. That's a great one.
It is great, but it's a bastardization. Because you take this American version, 1956, King of the Monsters, and you take Godzilla 1985. You watch those back to back. King of the Monsters still took it serious. There's no jokes. It's not goofy. It was dead serious. They played it dead serious. 85. I mean, and granted, I grew up with that up until I got the original 84 tape in my hands, and then watched it until forever because it's my favorite fucking Godzilla movie. But you know, the Colonel, the goofy other guy, the little goofy soldier that's in there, you know, he reminds me of Major Spielberg and Take That You Dinosaur.
Take That You Dinosaur, yeah.
I love that so much.
I see your point. It's been a long time since I've done a comparison between the 84, 85 differences. But let's talk about so quickly. I want to note that this is like a really interesting scene of it's seemingly like the men versus the women in this part. I don't know. I think it's just a nice little touch.
I do too.
But what's that?
I definitely do too. I like the idea. They're trying to keep it under wraps. They're like, no, people got a right to know. Disaster response center. 17 ships sunk to date. Oh, okay. Here we go. Atomic tuna relay.
It'll probably go straight for you first. Such a good line.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Well, I guess Twitter is just full of bullshit then.
Don't you mean X? X.
Yeah. God, why hasn't that meme kicked off more of X?
I don't know. I made a Twitter account about 12 years ago, I think. I didn't even tweet anything. I looked, I said, nah, this ain't for me.
Yeah, that's fair. That's so let's touch on the differences of this and King of the Monsters. Because as much as you know, we were just talking about 84, 85. When I watch those two movies, to me it's still the same film. You know, 84, The Return of Godzilla and Godzilla 85 are. It feels like the same film, but I've always looked at Gojira and King of the Monsters as effectively two separate films. It's the same content, but with different perspectives and obviously added in scenes, but the tones are so wildly different that it really feels like two separate films to me. I think both of them are great. I know a lot of people don't like King of the Monsters.
Really?
But I think it's awesome. Yeah.
The only King of the Monsters I don't like came out in 2019.
Oh, you stop.
I gotta stop. I say that, then I watch the movie and I'm like, man, you know what? Fuck the stupid jokes, but I do enjoy this monster action. It kicks. Oh, but don't get me started on that Rodan. Don't get me started. No, stop.
But yeah.
But
talk a little bit about how you would compare Gojira and King of the Monsters.
So I have not seen King of the Monsters in forever. Like I said, once I got that 1954 original tape, it came in a blue case, right? The VHS was blue case. Let me not say that. The cover was blue. Red outline box, Godzilla in the middle, Gojira, kanji right there. I was in love. That was in 1998, 99, in and around that time. Yeah, 98, 99. No, yeah. Yeah, about 98. So I have not watched King of the Monsters since about 1998.
Oh, okay.
So it's been a very long time. And that's only because I prefer, like, once it connected to me, like, once it connected with me, the Japanese versions might be a little bit more serious. I stopped watching the dubs.
Sure.
Show is different. I'll go back and I'll watch a couple of Showa dubs all the time. Like, it doesn't, because I grew up with them, right? Like, Godzilla vs. Megalon, for instance. I'm watching the dub. I'm watching the dub. Because it brings so much joy to me. Oh, man, that bear looks good. That bear looks real good. As I eat my Cheeto and drink my Coca-Cola. Okay, this part I always bugged out. The footsteps underwater. Oh, but look at that majestic looking creature.
Yeah, there he is. As just birth of an icon.
Yeah. One of the things I love about this movie too is Godzilla's initial attack on Tokyo, the very first one with the train, when he, train in the mouth and all that. That is one of it's horrifying. It's horrifying because like you saw them on the train talking. Oh man, now we got this Godzilla thing. Like I was there. I don't want to go back to the shelters or whatever. Imagine being on the train and that thing just pops up. Again, another parallel to 84. I love that movie. Godzilla coming out of the fog. Right up on that nuclear power plant. The very first time we see Godzilla eat nuclear energy. That's one of my all-time favorite things, man. And this is another... See, there's so many... You're right about the perspectives between King of the Monsters and this. Where we're seeing it from an American reporter's point of view and how he views everything happening and questioning. We don't get none of that with this. That's taken right away. We either side with Yamane or we side with the government. Like, yo, do we kill Godzilla? And he's like, why would we kill this unbelievable wonder of the earth? This one in a million, once in a lifetime thing. Why would we kill this thing? Because obviously nothing has happened yet, Dr. Yamane.
Well, still, even after the attack on Tokyo, Yamane doesn't want to kill Godzilla. Like, he doesn't want to be a part of it.
That's true.
And you can see, we were talking over the scene a couple scenes back where he's just sitting in his office by himself in the dark, and just the fact that it broke out, that hearing broke out in such, it got so heated, like, you could tell it just devastates him, and he just like knows, yeah, this isn't gonna go well. Like, this isn't gonna go well for Godzilla as an animal.
Yeah. I think what it was Dr. Yamane knew his time was up because he realized after he fucking grabbed the trilobite, whoops, I should have had some gloves on. Please don't kill this thing until I get to study it and then let me die in peace.
And so here we're just seeing the ending of them, Emiko and Ogata discussing their, how guilty they feel and how just terrible they feel for Serizawa. And it's shocking how well written this is, how melancholic it is.
That's a good, good word.
How every character is just dealing with, in a lot of ways, like, this is a pretty normal problem. This is a pretty, realistic, everyday kind of issue that a lot of people face in their lives. But it's coupled with just the most devastating, world-ending destruction.
Yep.
And it just all has such a great balanced weight to all of it, and it's there's nothing that we can say between the two of us that hasn't already been said or gushed about.
One of the things I liked about that scene too, Ogata's like, yo, I'll go talk to him. I'll let him know. And she's like, no. Let me do it. It'll be easier. Mm-hmm. Let me tell him. I'll break it to him gently. And I love the fact that she doesn't get a chance to.
Yeah.
She doesn't get a chance to. And Ogata, when she tells him that, he's kind of like, don't worry about it. You know, like, I still, like, I get it. I still love you. But you know what? I always looked at the Japanese culture. There's a whole bunch of honor, right? And you can tell Ogata respects Serizawa, and it seems vice versa. Mm-hmm. So for them to be doing what they're doing behind his back, how far is it going? Is it, in today, for what people do today, we're just very promiscuous. We just do it, right? Pretty much.
Sure.
There's no...
Yeah.
But back in those days, there's still some type of conservativeship. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Are they doing the damn thing, or are they just dating? Or they're falling in love? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's weird, but it's, again, such a great triangle. I will say this. I going back real quick to King of the Monsters and Gojira, respectively. I will say one of the reasons why I prefer this version over that version, and this is a minor complaint, they reuse the same scenes over and over again. Like, for instance, the first time you see Godzilla appear over the hill, Emiko falls, she screams in the original, right? Bam, bam, bam. In King of the Monsters, they do that sequence twice. She falls, Steve Martin might fall or tries to pick her up, looks back, same Godzilla doing the same thing, same scene, same thing. There's not a different take on it. There's not a different shot of it. It's just rehashed. And I don't know, I always was like, once I watched this one, I was like, yeah, this one, it flows better.
Sure.
Better paced.
I can't say that I remember that. It's been a while since I watched King of the Monsters as well, but I mean, that it makes sense that they did that. They didn't have, when it was Americanized by, I forget the man's name, but they just had this film. They just had, they weren't, they didn't have deleted scenes, they didn't have alternate takes, they had Gojira as a completed work, and dude saw it, and he was like, this is fucking awesome. This is going to be a big thing in America.
Uh-huh.
How do I make a foreign film work in 1954 or 1956? Like, well, let's gussy it up and put an American in there, and like, credit where credit's due. Like, they could have, they talking about handling it with care and putting as much effort in.
Yep.
Like, the filmmakers who did the Americanized scenes for King of the Monsters, they did a damn good job.
They absolutely did.
They, aside from just filming Raymond Burr just on a background that kind of looks similar and just sticking him in there, they got body doubles for the other actors. Like, when I saw it as a kid, I knew that it was an Americanized version, but I was like, wow, they actually got like the Japanese actors back too. You obviously don't see their faces when they're talking to Raymond Burr, but
right.
It works. It works really well.
I will say this, and I'm mad at myself for not off the bat. The 1956 version, Godzilla King of the Monsters, has the greatest line in all of Godzilla history. The greatest. Even better than, sorry, I'm a vegetarian. Even better than that line. The greatest line in all of Godzilla history is at the end of the movie, when Serizawa and Ogata go at it, and Ogata tells him, in the 1956 version, you have your fears, which might become reality, and you have Godzilla, which is reality. And that Well, I got goosebumps right now, for real. That line.
Yeah, the writing for that Raymond Burr had in both versions, both times he did it, is impeccable. It's incredible. That the speech that he gives at the end of 85,
I love it,
is quintessential Godzilla. It is one of the best moments in the whole franchise. Absolutely. It is one of the compared with Godzilla perishing in the volcano. It's heartbreaking to watch. It adds so much more depth to that scene.
Holy crap! Speaking of, I'm sorry. You see what Serizawa just did there? You want to see it? Let me rephrase that. You want to see what I've been working on? She sees the oxygen destroyer for the first time. She goes crazy because it's utter destruction. Mm-hmm. Look at she's gone.
Yeah.
But he tells her, don't tell nobody. She says, I'll keep it a secret. The same thing. She didn't get to tell him the secret between, not that Serizawa doesn't know, but I love that. This is why I get mad at current entertainment and people who wants to yap this way and that way. Oh, females don't get enough recognition in movies. Look at this. In 1954, Japan. Mm-hmm. And Emiko is a vital character in this movie. She's not background noise. Shinsuke's background noise. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
She is not background noise. She is an important, integral piece of this puzzle. She don't really do nothing, but
she's kind of watching, or she's kind of like on the she's like the balancing point of the scales. Like she's the linchpin of the movie in a lot of ways.
Absolutely.
Then you're right. Like she doesn't get enough credit. Versus Destroyer did a great thing by bringing her back for one final scene and having the grandchildren of Dr. Yamane in there, and like. That's just another reason that Versus Destroyer is so awesome.
That's your G95 moniker.
Yep.
Here we go. Oh, this is the best part. Hey, I didn't get to tell him. He's okay. Like, I didn't get a chance to tell. See, he's alright. He's like, it's alright, babe.
Mm-hmm.
But this. Look at this. God, come on. Look at this beautiful behemoth of a behemoth.
Yeah,
I love
it's just so atmospheric. It is like... this is probably only coming up because I've been reading a lot of Lovecraft lately.
Mm-hmm.
And it just feels like the tone of like Call of Cthulhu.
Okay.
Like it's just so dire and ominous and slow. There's like a creeping horror to it.
I like that.
And you see like people like they're still, you see them slowly start to panic more, they start to run a little bit faster here, and it's wonderful. The whole movie leading up to this is kind of that balancing act of like, do we do something about Godzilla? Do we tell people or don't we tell people? Then people thinking like, is this a big deal? Do I have to worry about this? Will this just be fine? I gotta assume that this is a take on Japanese culture at the time to some degree. Possibly, maybe. This is one reading of it as is it an acknowledgement? Like, how much do we as Japanese people acknowledge our part in World War II? Because they don't really talk about that. That's kind of a glossed over because it's the Imperial Japanese Army committed just as many atrocities as every other country in World War II.
Right.
And it's not really talked about. That's one reading of it. Another is obviously the bombs, and I don't know how much that is or isn't talked about in Japan, especially at this time.
Right.
I don't know. What do you think?
Godzilla's the allegory.
But for what?
The bombs.
Well,
The destruction. What every Godzilla movie from this point on, oh man, it's such a great shot. Every movie from this point on, there's always something, always a message what Godzilla would represent. Even Shin Godzilla represented the failure of government with the tsunami, March 2011. Not that I read too much into that. But this is where I think -1 is going to be so fucking good. The fact that it takes place literally right after all the stuff. Look at this. Godzilla flipping bridges like, get this shit out of my face. I will give it to your man Ano for when the bridge comes flying through the smoke in Shin Godzilla.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. I loved it. And there's Godzilla leaving with that iconic roar saying, hey yo, what you gonna do?
Yeah, it's just a taste of what's to come.
So, I don't know if you know this, and it only hit me. I have it pre-ordered. It comes out in October. You mentioned you were reading. You know that the original book is being written in English for the first time ever. For Godzilla and Raids Again.
For Godzilla and Godzilla Raids Again. Yeah, I just saw that last night.
Do you have? I pre-ordered mine.
I don't really pre-order a lot of stuff.
Okay.
But I will get them when they come out.
Yeah, I pre-ordered. I saw that. Damn! I've had this on pre-order for a couple months now. I saw it and I was like, "What is this?"
Wow.
Yeah. I had to make sure.
An article about it last night for the first time. How have you known about it for so long?
Literally, I was just on Amazon one day looking at Godzilla stuff, and that popped up. No, I was looking at Ultraman stuff. I'm lying. I was looking to see if any new Ultraman DVDs came out, and that was there. It was like,
mm-hmm.
And I said, "What is this? What the hell is this?" And I thought it was already out. I thought because it looked so old, and that's what I love about it. And it's got that picture of Godzilla on the cover that looks like the tiger, the lion dragon version of Godzilla, which again, it's insane. So I was like, what is this? And then it was like, pre-order, it comes out in October. I'm like, okay, here you go, here's my money. I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to seeing if there's any differences. I don't know. Can we stop and talk about the score real quick, in all honesty?
Absolutely.
This version of the march right here, I mean, the march is always iconic. There are various versions of the march over the years. But no, actually I can't lie. I think the one in Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah 91 is my favorite version of the march. Or I'm lying. Terror of Mechagodzilla. That might be my favorite version of the march. But there are two themes that constantly play in my head, right?
Mm-hmm.
Star Wars and this.
Yeah.
It's
interesting that they're playing it over a lot of the military stuff.
Yeah.
It's not quite, at this point, Godzilla's theme. Just the intro to it, like the slow like that's definitely like supposed to be Godzilla's theme in this, but like the march in this one definitely is representing humanity
in there, because it sounds like it's almost uplifting, like we can do this. Yeah. It's inspirational. Mm-hmm. Like, let's go.
And now it's just, well, Godzilla's fucking awesome.
Yeah, pretty
Look
much.
how cool he is.
Pretty much. Let's get Bear McCreary and put the freaking chanting and the big drums and bass that sumbitch up. I hate that version, by the way. That's not true, too. I'm lying there.
I don't like the chanting, but I do really love the orchestration.
Agreed. I'm 100%
really,
with you.
Bear McCreary really brought it to the next level with making the march sound as big as Godzilla.
Yeah. I could do without the chanting. I know Brother Chase loves the chanting. I could do without the chanting, but I 100% agree. It's so, I don't want to say beefy, but that's like the only phrase that comes to mind. It's beefy, man.
So,
it's like, yeah.
I quickly want to talk about how just dejected Yamane looks here, and like these actors are so good. They are so good, and he kind of carries this weight of knowing that this isn't going to end well for Godzilla. Through, like, kind of talked about it a little bit earlier, but he just portrays it so well. His physicality of just how much he's shrunk and is dejected.
I love it. You nailed it.
Yeah, and then Ogata is like, well, I think it might be a good thing, and Yamane is like, get the fuck out of my house.
Exactly. All you want to do is kill Godzilla 2? Get out! I don't want to see your face ain't no more. Beat it, bitch! Look at that. There's another H-bomb reference. See, I don't remember them saying that in the classic media version. I have to watch it again. But then again,
get out of my house.
When you watch a movie so many times, you just kind of know what they're gonna say in your head, and you don't really like read the subtitles anymore. You just know where it's at. You're just watching it. So it could be that. Like, I'm watching it now because there's certain things, like, again, there's certain scenes I'm looking at, and it's nothing to do with Godzilla, but like certain scenes I absolutely don't remember in this movie. Just like random shots of streets, or like I said, the boat sinking in the beginning after the SOS was received on the mainland, and then they go back to the boat, and I don't ever recall seeing that. So now I'm paying attention to this version, because again, this is the first time I'm watching the Criterion version, and it's masterful, man. I already love this movie. There's nothing wrong with this movie for me. This is the gem.
Yeah.
This is the gem, right? You know how people say Empire Strikes Back is the greatest Star Wars movie ever? That may very well be true. But Return of the Jedi is my favorite, the way Return of Godzilla is my favorite. But this one, there's a reason it always comes back to this.
Yeah, it's a perfect film. I think it's well within everybody's right to say. I think there's a stigma in the fandom that you have to say that Gojira is your favorite.
Right.
And that's just like, it is objectively the best film of them. I love the shots of the turrets. Is very clearly like a day for night shot.
Yep.
Too. You can see the clouds perfectly. But it is the best made film. This is a perfect film with the love and care and effort that they put in, and how groundbreaking it is. It's a perfect film, but it doesn't have to be your favorite Godzilla movie, and that's okay. Final Wars is my favorite, and that's okay. So here's something that I've never really loved about this one. Talking about how perfect it is, of course, I come up with a criticism. I'm
sorry, I'm choking on a Cheeto.
I don't like that the implication that they set up these electrical towers in like a day. I think it's just it's just a little bit world breaking, like little unrealistic.
But was it a day? It seemed like through the march, it seemed like maybe a week. There was definitely some time lapse.
Sure, but that's a level of construction that should take months and months. But
that's the ingenuity of Japan. This is what we were talking about. You were talking about right at the beginning, how it went from a feudal nation to an industrial nation like overnight. Bam, there it is.
But I think King of the Monsters handles this really well by saying that these are just telephone lines or electrical lines. That it's not necessarily a defense against Godzilla. I thought that was a nice little touch.
That scene, Godzilla breaking through the electrical lines. Excuse me, I'm sorry. I choked on a Cheeto, so I'm all messed up. That scene, Godzilla walking through the electrical lines, is probably my second or third favorite silhouette. My favorite look in this movie of Godzilla. My favorite camera angle. My favorite shot where, I mean, because you look at this suit, right? You look at still pictures of this suit. It is as dope as Godzilla is. It is kind of goofy, right? Let's not fake jacks here. It does look a little.
Oh, I love that they're just getting straight atomic breathed.
And that's and the fact that they do that, showing these people getting killed that way. This movie holds nothing back.
It's not even like atomic breath at this point. He's just breathing just pure radiation. That's kind of the implication. Also, he looks so much fucking bigger because there's no skyscrapers yet. He looks truly massive. And
that's what Gam made a great point. I think we touched upon this in our last podcast, where Godzilla would match the size of wherever Japan is with their buildings.
Sure.
See, like that scene, like Godzilla's eyes.
Yeah.
It's like
they're a little goofy.
It's a little goofy. But that one scene, that when he's coming through the electrical wires, and there's another scene, I think, at the end of this rampage, or it might have been when he flipped the bridge already. That might have happened already. But I'm just like, that silhouette was perfect. It was like, you see that in the dark, it's over. I just die of fright. Die of fright. But I love this. I love it.
And you really get you get so much more of the human perspective of this too, of actually watching the people run away, and from seeing Godzilla from their perspective. It's really, really great.
And that's what happened. Like, the entirety of the series kind of lost that flavor. They brought it back in '84. They brought it back in '84. They the intro to 2000, Millennium, kind of had that. But outside of that,
they really don't play up the fear as much as look how good this composite shot is of the tanks firing on Godzilla. Like, that is seamless.
That is seamless.
It looks like it is just one shot, and it honestly might be. It is. Could be.
Those are definitely remote controls. See, that's a cool Godzilla Mac. That puppet right there is cool. Catzilla.
Yeah. Well, those tanks are, but it looks like some of them aren't miniatures, or it's a composite shot.
You were talking about the miniatures before too. Yeah. That one scene when we started talking about seeing the horror, that's another thing though. Maybe in those later movies, I mean, it's still horrific, but not the first time Godzilla's been here. '84, it's been 30 years. But going back to the miniatures, they're running down that they run down the alley. You see them running through the streets, and then a couple of them turn down the alley, and they're running down the alley, and that's a composite shot, and it's good. But the building behind them in the main street that you see Godzilla walk through, that's a miniature, and that was so well done, especially the way it came crumbling down. And it's something that, if you don't look for it, you're not gonna see it. Mm-hmm. But like you said before, the small attentions to detail.
Or
that's a great shot.
Seeing the people in their
in the windows.
You can see the people, in the windows. It's those little touches that just make this movie so much more special.
I don't know why I always love this shot. Godzilla puppet behind a wall of flame, in front of a wall of flames. It's so good.
All of Japan is just burning.
Burning.
Yeah. And everybody who is hanging out up there on that tower, they're all dead.
They're all dead.
Fucked.
That's a great scene. The Tokyo Tower scene. The Tokyo Tower sequence in this movie.
And then
this one right here.
One of them. Oh, so here's
great shot.
This weird shot of Godzilla with the birds. And obviously in '84, the birds drive him away. it's such a weird touch, but I can't help but feel that the filmmakers of '84 saw that scene and was like, what could we do with that? You know what I'm saying? I've never noticed that before. Before I watched it a couple weeks ago, and it just really clicked with me.
This is probably the most fucked up scene in the movie.
In the whole series, probably.
Yeah, probably. We're gonna go join Daddy.
It's just so horrific.
A mother and her 3 young children. That's insanity.
Yeah.
The fact that she couldn't get away is what's the scariest thing of all. Yeah. Like, you ever had a nightmare you ever had a nightmare with Godzilla? I've had several, right, in my time. Oh, wait, is this it? This is it? Tokyo Tower scene? No, the clock scene, is right? Yeah, it's the clock. Wait a minute.
Oh, yeah.
That's going to make me want to watch that Godzilla -1 trailer again. To see if that was the time the clock's on in the trailer. That would be just a cool little nod. And I think this is what King of the Monsters did very well. Steve Martin narrating this.
Mm-hmm.
It's fantastic.
In that tower that we just watched Godzilla take down too, or the tower that burned down.
Yeah.
I feel like he was in that but it's been a long time. But there's certain shots in this Rampage where his silhouette looks like the '84 silhouette.
This is a great shot. No music. Godzilla just walking by buildings. It's great. I love this. Him stepping there and the water starts flowing. Like the little attention to details with this movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's ridiculous. There's an '84 shot if I ever seen one. Oh, look at that. And then there's Godzilla thinking, what am I going to do next? I'll just go this way. I love it. Oh, my foot.
Yeah, and just the sheer range of special effects that they used on this is unbelievable.
You see this sequence right here? I'm sorry. Did you see how this is filmed like a silent film?
Yeah.
Slow motion. This shot is amazing.
Yeah.
And now we get to see the spikes light up. There they are.
Yeah.
And
so
that's iconic Godzilla right there, man.
Effects,
this is where Steve Martin is, by the way. I'm sorry. This is where Steve Martin is in 1956. Gotcha. He's in this building. I'll never forget. Yep. Because he's gonna get out, and this is where he gets crushed, and that they actually do that. Damn. All right, mad props to the American version because he sees that from under the rubble. He sees Godzilla's tail. I'll never forget that. Now that
you're right.
When the way that comes down, like folds in, they actually have that. Like, damn, they did that to. I gotta watch King of the Monsters again. Now I'm excited to rewatch that movie. I'm sorry, I jumped all over what you were saying. I'll go ahead, brother. I get excited. Godzilla's doing his rampage thing. The music, listen to the music. It's just
it's but
perfect.
It is. But the sheer range of special effects that they utilize for this, building this suit when there was a rubber shortage in Japan, which is crazy. Yeah, there was a rubber shortage after World War II. Using the puppetry, using some stop motion, using the rear projection, the sheer level of model making that they had to do this. Like I believe that they replicated as parts of Tokyo as much as they realistically could.
Yeah.
Which is just crazy. I want to say that this was the highest budget for a Japanese film at the time.
I could definitely see that.
Yeah.
Well, my guys in Tokyo Tower just bit the dust. Well, I love that scene. It's so that's frightening when you can't escape.
Mm-hmm.
That's scary. Hold up, I gotta put this up a bit. Oh yeah, see that shot right there of Godzilla? Oh, it's another one of my favorites. Just look at that silhouette. That shot was perfect. There it is. Look at this. Look at him with the bridge. The face, it looks good. It looks so good.
Yeah, and again with no music, just the fire raging in the background.
Yep, Godzilla flipping a bridge like flip. No, there's music. It's just that dull piano. Just.
Oh yeah, you're right. My TV's turned down pretty low.
Yeah, sorry. But it's good. Here come the jets with the fucking. There's the music. The march.
Yeah. See, this is absolutely the humanities theme.
Yes.
In this.
Godzilla stole it. Godzilla, you big jerk.
It's just so good. I love that you can kind of watch the missiles just hit the background and kind of just drop.
Yeah. You know what? This is some of my favorite things, though, and I think this is why I love Godzilla movies so much, is because I bought into all of this.
Yeah.
That's an actual plane flying. That's a giant dinosaur they're trying to shoot at. I can see the strings and I don't care. I buy it. I'm in all the way. And Godzilla's like, miss me, bitch. You miss me. You miss me. You miss me. It's crazy. See, that's another good-looking shot of Godzilla right there. Even the eyes, that's fine.
He's not even, like, until they get really close, he's not even, like, worried about them. He's kind of swiping when the missiles get close, but, you know, now he's getting kind of aggravated, but generally he just, like, does not care.
Look.
And honestly, like, this feels like the climax of the movie. Oh, yeah, you can see him drop off there. I love that.
Yes.
But this feels like the climax of the movie. Like, in another movie, this would be the end, and the missiles would kill Godzilla. Like they do in 98.
I was about to say, are you referring to something there?
But no, it's just like Godzilla.
Or even King Kong.
Rampage.
Even Kong.
But he has this rampage, and humanity starts to get the upper hand, the military gets the upper hand, and they kill the big bad. But no, there's still, there's 25 minutes left. Like, of more story, and we sit with the devastation for a while.
The devastation, yep.
Like here.
Good, look at this.
Just...
Now this is...
had to be
this was... No, that's
shots.
Exactly what they were doing.
Yeah.
They were showing, look, this... We made a movie. This is what it was. This is what it was for our people. And it's just nuts when you think about, like, as kids, we don't think about it like that. We don't see the themes, you know? We just see a monster movie. That's all we're looking at, you know? And as we get older, we learn and we smarten up. It's like, holy shit. This movie, man.
I think I saw King of the Monsters when I was probably 7 or 8. And that's like the edited for TV version of this. Like they touch on a lot of the devastation. I remember that this little kid's crying is still in that, but it's not nearly as heavy as this is. And I remember thinking, as just a wee little lad of 7 or 8, and finishing this King of the Monsters and going, wow, that was fucking dark.
It's crazy.
And I really like that King of the Monsters kind of like had Raymond Burr in the action. Like he's a witness to this, but he's also a part of it. He's involved with Emiko and Ogata and Serizawa.
Yep.
He gets fucked up real bad in Godzilla's destruction.
Yep. I love that she said, I could break my promise now with a clean conscience. And see, this is again, and this is important. Like, Emiko is not wrong here.
Mm-hmm.
She is put in a place that she is the outcome of the movie.
Yeah.
And for everybody saying, oh, there's no representation of women in movies. You can go back and look at, there's a plethora of movies where pretty much every Godzilla movie there's a strong female character. Pretty much all, not all, but pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
And here we get to finally see the raw effects of the oxygen destroyer, which, when I saw this the first time as a kid, I was like, holy shit. Holy shit. Oh, crazy.
Yeah, her scream is just iconic there. And, I mean, speaking of the bomb and Oppenheimer coming out just, 3 weeks ago or whatever, like, the parallels between Serizawa and Oppenheimer are shocking.
Never thought of that like that. Yep.
I'm sure he's a big inspiration on the character of Serizawa to just dealing with what he created and dealing with the ramifications it could have on humanity.
Yeah. It splits oxygen atoms into fluids. That is great. One of the things I loved about 1985 and a parallel between 84 and 85. In 84, there was like it's a different Godzilla.
Yeah.
It's not the same. But in 85, Raymond Burr's like, yo, we never found the body.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yes!
I've always liked that touch.
Yes.
That it is the same Godzilla.
Same.
I've never really loved the idea of like there's multiple Godzillas just running around, but I mean it's pretty hard to argue at the end of this film that this Godzilla dies. This Godzilla dies. It stays dead because even his fucking bones dissolve.
Yep.
I mean, maybe he pulls a Wolverine or a Deadpool and regenerates from a single cell or some shit, but I don't know. I'm sick of that in comics, and I kind of want to keep that out of
Keep it away from Godzilla?
too.
What if you see, this is... It's a unbelievable movie, this movie.
Mm-hmm. I also love how sweaty Serizawa is. It's a nice little touch. Like, I don't know if the studio is just really hot, because Emiko isn't sweaty, or if they just, like, spritzed him down before, like, look exhausted, look sickly, look...
That's it.
Stressed out.
I think you nailed it. That's it. Look stressed out. If you literally had the power of God in your hands, after what just happened to your country,
mm-hmm.
you're going to be sick. And he is, like you were talking about Yamane earlier in the movie. All they want to do is kill Godzilla, and he's broken. And it shows in his performance, his body language. That's it right there. He's sick.
Yeah.
He's sick. He's got the sweats. His stomach's in knots. It's perfection. Again, another little detail I never thought about that makes this even better.
Yeah, I mean, it's like what we talked about earlier, is everybody is dealing with the weight of the world, or the weight of their world. Like, Serizawa was not involved with Godzilla in the plot at all. Not until the very last ending. He is involved with the oxygen destroyer, and that's the weight of the whole world on top of him. Yamane, the scientist, the paleontologist, the one who cares about preserving this animal's life, he's dealing with the weight of that world on his shoulders, and Emiko is dealing with the weight of keeping this secret that's eating her up inside on her shoulders too. Like, and the fact that these three really separate plots are all weaved together so well is masterful. Absolutely.
It's crazy that you said that Serizawa is kind of like an afterthought of this movie until it's absolutely necessary. Is he a MacGuffin? maybe, sort of, kind of. But at the same time, the love triangle. Oh, man. Oh, come on. Oh, there we go. I started to lag. The love triangle. Just now when Serizawa sees Ogata, he's like, oh,
Yeah.
you. I got a favor to ask. Oh, great. What do you... Sit down. Here it comes. You're going to ask me to give up Emmy? What? The oxygen destroyer? What you talk about, Willis? And there's Emiko just like, listen. And she's not wrong.
Yeah.
And she's not wrong. She went through it already. The country's been decimated. We rebuilt, and here we are. Something unprecedented, and only you can stop this. We need you. Yeah. And this is one of the things. No, go ahead.
Did you see Oppenheimer?
No, I did not.
Okay. So, I mean, a lot of it is the parallels between Oppenheimer and this are kind of staggering. Honestly, it's a lot of people coming, like military personnel coming to Oppenheimer and saying, we need this weapon. We need this to win the war, to end the war. And it's the weight of what he created is, weighing on him completely. It's the whole point of the movie. And it's very, very similar to Serizawa, who's both of them, like, Serizawa didn't set out to create a weapon. He's a scientist. He followed the science that he was passionate about, and this is what he made. And that's very much how it's portrayed in Oppenheimer too. It's like he knew going into it that he was going to be building a bomb, but the passion for atomic research just drove him so far that he wasn't really worried about the consequences. And just seeing the weight between the two characters is it's interesting. It's really interesting.
And see, you talking Oppenheimer, and he just said this is a weapon of mass destruction. But did you see when she went to clean his face, Serizawa's look of like, this is it. That's I have got nothing else to live for. They're gonna come after me for this, for the oxygen destroyer. I've got nothing left.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a really good way to put it. Like he can't have Emiko. He can't deal with the oxygen destroyer being used and humanity utilizing it as a weapon.
Which I love.
And
no, go ahead.
And then just the small little thing of just the way that Emiko cleans the blood off of Ogata's head, and you can. I love that there's a little touch of when Serizawa hits Ogata. You can tell he feels fucking terrible about that. Like he's it's never stated, but this dude is obviously a big pacifist.
But he was in the war, because
yes,
that's how Steve. Yeah, that's how he lost his eye, and that's how Steve Martin known him, right? They were buddies in the war or something, if I'm not mistaken.
But I mean, you could assume that whatever happened during his time in the war made him be a pacifist.
Absolutely.
I mean, don't forget that Ishiro Honda was in the war too, and he's very blatantly anti-war.
Unbelievable. And then the song.
Yeah.
Which as a kid I used to always hate. I'm like, I shut this song off, get with the good stuff. But now when I watch it, I'm like, that's definitely the child in me. It's heartbreaking. It is.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, this is kind of dealing with themes that I don't think a kid can fully grasp onto.
Absolutely.
And the lyrics too. That's, I don't know. I don't recall there ever being lyrics with King of the Monsters or any other previous versions of the sub, but I mean, it just adds so much more.
It does. And go back to the oxygen destroyer and how Serizawa never wanted to use this thing, knew that this thing could be used as a weapon. And then in 1995, micro-oxygen is created or found based off of the
like
idea.
Elements of,
right.
Yeah.
And it's and then, you know, just dealing with Serizawa's legacy. And even if they don't go deep into it, but that's what it is. The legacy with the scientists trying to, like, oh, we can do this. We're going to use it for a different purpose.
Yeah.
But at the same time, Emiko coming back like, no, please don't. Like, you don't understand the sacrifice this man made.
Yeah.
To put this horror behind us. And yes, we have Godzilla. And yes, Godzilla's still a thing after all these fucking years. But please, pretty please. And it's one of those things that make that movie, when you look at it in like certain lights, so fucking awesome.
Well, yeah, it's definitely has the continued theme of nuclear energy and nuclear weapons. Of, well, like this is the devastation of what happened the last time we used this. This is the toll that it took. This is what we can never use again. But on the other side, Godzilla could destroy the whole world.
Right.
You know, and that's definitely like the mindset of other countries versus, you know, like that's war. That's war with nuclear weapons.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's I can't believe people shit on this fucking series.
It's because of the campy nature that is. This is why when people get mad at me when I say I don't like watching any kind of riff tracks. Even Mystery Science Theater, as much as I do love that shit, it frustrates me because sometimes, I mean, granted, Godzilla vs. Megalon is not a deep movie like this, right?
Yeah.
It's not. But don't take, let's say, Ghidra the three-headed monster and riff that. Like, that doesn't make sense. Like, I hate the fact that there's a riff tracks for the Heisei Gamera trilogy. No. Those movies are dope.
Yeah, they stand toe-to-toe with the best Godzilla movies.
So when you do something like that and make it goofy, that's the lineage we get. That's what we get. That's what we get. King Kong's never been played for laughs.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
A couple times.
Maybe King Kong lives a little bit, but
yeah. And King Kong versus Godzilla, like, that movie is absolutely a comedy.
Well, but I'm talking about like legit American King Kong films.
Yeah, that's fair. To that point though, I think Mystery Science Theater is the only way that some of the Showa Gamera films could ever be watchable. I fucking hate those movies. They're really bad.
Okay.
I appreciate Gamera as a monster. Like I said, Heisei Trilogy is some of the best kaiju films ever made. But good lord, those Showa era Gamera films are rough to get through.
Yeah. I'm not going to argue that because I can't. To me, it's the original Gamera versus Baragon, and then I could care less about anything else that comes out. I respect Gauss a bit. It's not bad. The one thing I will say about Gamera movies, though, over Godzilla movies, is they did not shy away from absolute carnage. Like, Gamera would bleed through everywhere. He'd cut in the head. The monsters' heads were getting cut off.
Yeah.
Like, you've seen Godzilla bleed a couple times. Gigan. Mechagodzilla.
That is was God. EJ Subaraya, the effects director, he was kind of in a lot of ways like comparable to like Jim Henson, where he just wanted to use the effects, in the effects that he did to entertain kids. Like he didn't want it to be too violent, and that's why he went and started Ultraman. Yeah. So that's since he was doing the effects for.
Wait. Have you seen Showa Ultraman series?
No, I've never watched.
They are fucking violent as shit. They're worse than Gamera movies.
Yeah, but they're still more aimed at children.
Dude, in one of my favorite Ultraman series, Return of Ultraman, Hideki Go's girlfriend, Ultraman's girlfriend, gets murdered because they open the car door, lean her out, and smash her into a fucking telephone pole.
Hell yeah.
It's crazy. Anyhow, we're at the end of this movie, so we got to talk about it because this is poignant. First off, Oxygen Destroyer, one of the greatest designs ever, right? For a weapon. I love that design. You look at that design and think about certain things in movie history that might come to mind. It reminds me of the Oxygen Destroyer. This thing takes away life. I'm talking about the Genesis Project and Star Trek The Wrath of Khan. Similar look. It ain't full on the Oxygen Destroyer, but it's similar. Another thing.
I actually have a quick aside is I have an acquaintance that he went to Japan with his girlfriend for a vacation back in 2019, and they actually got to hold the original Oxygen Destroyer prop. That
just puts all the wrinkles in my anus.
Yep.
Oh shit, that is so fucking awesome. That is so fucking awesome. The Matrix of Leadership, another thing. Not like the Oxygen Destroyer, but look at my shirt. It's like the Oxygen Destroyer. You open it up, bam. No, I love that shot of Godzilla. See, Godzilla just chilling on the bottom of the ocean. He's laying there. He's like, yo, I'm tired. What? Like, dude, I flipped the bridge. Y'all shot things at me. I just want to take a nap. Serizawa, his conviction is everything. He's like, oh, Okada, you could have done this, but I don't trust you.
And this is like the first time that Serizawa's seen Godzilla too.
Yes. This is such a great
I think it's a really cool aspect of 2014 and the 2019 King of the Monsters developing that relationship between Serizawa and Godzilla. When it's just a good move. It's just a good little lore move. This shot of Godzilla wading through the water is excellent.
Yes, it is.
It is so good. It is so ominous but sad. Like, Godzilla's never humanized at all. He's never in this one. He's never there's no sympathetic aspects except for this. There's just something about the way it's lit that it's like kind of sympathetic, and hearing Godzilla scream as the Oxygen Destroyer is killing him is like it's horrible.
And it's a different scream too, which is one of the things I love. You hear almost like the verb. How do you say that verb? Look at that shot of Godzilla. That word. Almost like his vocal cords are being liquefied. This is one of the reasons why I can't lie. And it happened again today. I was watching the end of Destroyer today as I was doing my cleaning. And, you know, you always got to stop when Godzilla starts to melt down. I don't care what I'm doing. I could be in the middle of vacuuming the freaking ceiling. I'm stopping. And, this is another one.
Yeah,
I love Ogata's screaming.
Oh,
it's so good.
It's so good.
But when Godzilla starts to melt down and you hear it, when he can't roar anymore, you hear gurgling. And it's like, come on. And the tears start. And I think the eyeballs are like, come on, shut up, go back in. But no, all this underwater sequence of Godzilla is fucking fantastic.
Yeah, I was just about to say, I wish we got more. I wish we not in this, but in the series as a whole. Seeing this is just it's so well done.
Well done. Yep.
And
we've gotten plenty of underwater Godzilla stuff, but it's never been
not like
this. And then it kills me, the tumbling. Like, Godzilla's tumbling like he's caught in a washing machine. And it's just... Like, he goes upside down and floats up. And it's like a shark when it dies.
But I really fucking hate in Godzilla against Mechagodzilla that they redid this scene with such garbage CGI.
Yep.
Really kind of kills it.
Yep. I was never a fan of those two movies, though. You know that.
I go back and forth on which one I like more. But yeah, this is Serizawa saying goodbye.
I hope you two will be happy. Sayonara. Oh man, that shit is rough. I had buffer issues a bit, but we're caught up. But this part, when I was a kid, so I didn't know what he was doing as a kid. I literally, because they cut, but when they pull up the thing, here we go. Listen to Godzilla's roar. I gotta put this up. See, when they pull it, I'm like, oh shit. Like, as a kid, that messed me up. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, I understood that he chose to stay down there, but I didn't understand. I think it's such a this is a great touch from Criterion, where they don't they chose not to sub Yamane saying sayonara.
Yeah.
Like, that's such a powerful little touch.
You hear that?
Yeah.
You hear that vibrations? Look, Godzilla's hand almost looks like a skeleton too. It's crazy.
That's a little bit of a cheesy kind of shot, the way he just kind of flops over.
Kind of like flops over, yeah. But the money shot's here.
Yeah.
The money shot's here. Oh my god. You know, you see Godzilla's skeleton both times he dies. It's absolutely insane. And that's a great...
Yeah, it's a really seamless dissolve.
I love this.
It's really well done, and then the skeleton's gone.
Oh god, I want one of those. Somebody make me a Godzilla skeleton toy so I can buy it and put it over here. Godzilla skeleton in this one, Godzilla skeleton in Destroyer. It's unbelievable.
They you can find them. You can find them online. They're probably crazy amounts of money, but you can get them.
Crikey. I'm gonna have to invest in a 3D printer or know someone with one to try to get the specs.
Yeah.
Oh, this right here. Look at she is. You know,
and look at her face too. Like, oh god, it just devastates her.
She wished us happiness together. Look at that, like, oh, it's crazy good. I can't believe that Godzilla was the last of his species. Not yet, Dr. Yamane. There's more.
Well, that's the whole point of this little speech is like, if we keep going, there might be another Godzilla, and
yep.
Raids again fumbles that so hard.
Oh man, I have
just like, oh, there's another one, and it's fighting another crazy thing. What the fuck is that?
I have such a soft spot for that movie.
it's not terrible. It's very obviously rushed, and I really dig the design of Godzilla in that one, but no, the way that like 84 handles it in comparison is and
wow,
that's it.
Did you get a King Kong pop-up?
Yep.
Oh, the end. 1954 right. Toho.
That is our commentary for the original Gojira.
I loved it.
Yeah, sorry if we got off track a little bit too much in some degrees, but this is the way we bullshit.
Yeah.
But
I gotta be honest.
Hopefully we can do some more of these commentaries soon. But yeah, thank everybody, or thank you to everybody who joined us and listened in and watched along.
I don't know if we can do this for any other one. Like, it has to be the special ones. You know what I mean? Like, imagine us doing a commentary for Godzilla vs. Gigan. It's not going to be as deep. It's like...
No, it's not going to be as deep, but we'll bullshit around a little bit.
Well, no, this was absolutely a great time. I got to be honest. I did not know what to expect doing this. Again, I've never done commentary before, but... And even though it wasn't like commentary, we didn't make this movie. We're just fans. But I had such a fun time doing this, watching Godzilla. Yeah, this is the first time we ever watched a Godzilla movie together.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And no better way than to watch the original 54 behemoth, Godzilla, Gojira. Brother Matt, thank you for joining us today.
Of course. This was a blast.
It was a blast. And everybody out there, thank you for joining us on our Godzilla commentary. This is the Godzilla Block Party. I am G1, and we are out of here. Peace.